Hey, you kind of touched on, his emotional state. You're very big on how movies end. What did you think of like that kind of like juxtaposition between Mark Kerr and his best friend, one that had just like won the title, and then Mark Kerr who had lost, but I don't know, seemed to be smiling and like laughing in the shower. What was your kind of like reading of that scene? And
I think that part really worked because his mental state is all about losing, right? Like, say, in the beginning, he dreads losing because he doesn't know how he's going to handle it. When he's asked by a journalist, what would you do if you lost? He's completely blank. Like, he has no idea what to answer. It has never occurred to him. It is outside his lived experience. And then he finally loses and he completely crashes. And then he slowly builds himself up again, and then he loses and he's okay with it. The way you show a change in a character is you put the character into the same situation twice and you have them react differently. The first time he loses, it destroys him. The second time he loses, it's a relief.
you compare you kind of because like obviously they kind of like did back and forth and the side by side between like him and his best friend in this. Like, how did you kind of read him in that particular moment?
He's just sitting there in his locker room, processing the fact that he has achieved what he's worked for however many years. And I think that kind of works to me.
He looked like someone that almost had like the weight of the world being placed on his shoulder by winning that championship.
I think it's relief for both of them because the pressure has got to be enormous. They react to it a little bit differently because Coleman, they're both kind of similar, right? Like and like in terms of their mentality and in terms of like the skill level and how serious they take the sport, right? They're pretty similar. But what Coleman has over Kerr is that Coleman is a lot healthier. He has his family, he has a support network. Like, he's got a family that both he needs to support, but also that he will come back to. Therefore, his reaction to winning or to the contest being over is less extreme than Kerr's. For him, it's less about winning and more about proving to himself that A, he can fight and he can come back. And now that he has lost and it's not destroyed him, and he feels okay about it, that is victory by itself. Because that is victory over his former self. And so they are very similar in some areas and very different in others. And I think their reaction to it, which is silent, alone in a room, there's nobody else around in both cases. But in both cases, we're getting two different versions of relief of having arrived at what you were dreading.